Spirituality is not just the kind of in the temple or in the church or in the books. Although temple and church and books can help us to find spirituality, but ultimately spirituality is in our heart, in our intention, in our motivation. And therefore we need to practice spirituality and beauty and simplicity in everyday life.
Bonjour. Est-ce que vous connaissez Satish Kumar? C'est l'un des plus grands sages vivants aujourd'hui. Il a une vie absolument extraordinaire. Il a rencontré Martin Luther King. Il a travaillé comme un des pionniers à travailler au lien entre spiritualité, la nature, l'écologie. Il est aujourd'hui une figure qui inspire le monde entier. Et j'ai la joie de vous présenter ce dialogue qui va être en anglais, mais sous-titré pour que vous puissiez le lire. J'ai pensé que c'était vraiment bien de réussir à l'entendre dans sa langue et de pouvoir suivre son enseignement si simple et vous verrez si profond. Parce que la force de Satish Kumar, c'est la manière dont ce qu'il dit, il le vit vraiment, il a vraiment vécu, ce qui est tellement rare. Hi Satish, what a pleasure to see you. Maybe we can start by the title of your book in French. How did you learn simplicity and why is important?
Thank you. It is my pleasure to speak with you. Elegant simplicity is an ancient wisdom. From the time of the Buddha to Jesus Christ, to St. Francis, to Mahatma Gandhi, to Mother Teresa, to Hildegard of Bingen, all the great teachers have taught me to live simply so that you have time and attention for something which is non-material, something spiritual, meditation, poetry, all these things need time. If we are busy all the time, earning money, spending money, having material things, looking after them, we have no time. Now, in modern world, people have no time. Even though time is eternal, there is no shortage of time. But because of our pursuit of materialist consumption and production and a lifestyle we have created, which has taken all our time. And so in order to liberate time to do things which are most important, you need to simplify your life. This is why I have written the book, Elegant Simplicity, and how I discovered simplicity.
How to do that, how to succeed to make simplicity in our life. Because we don't choose to not be simple. We try to do our best. So how do we succeed to create more simplicity?
You create more simplicity by paying attention and being mindful of your life. Simplicity of thought, simplicity of words, and simplicity of material possessions. At every level, you have a simplicity, straightforwardness. And that happens when you pay attention, when you are mindful of your life. And you are always aware that whatever I have, it must be useful. And it must be beautiful. And it must be durable. Because lots of things we have, we don't use them. They are sitting in the attic or sitting here and there in our rooms. We are not using things. So if you have simple life, you have things only which you use. But they are not only useful, they are also beautiful.
You talk a lot about beauty. You talking a lot about beauty.
I talk about beauty because beauty is inner beauty and outer beauty. And beauty is the consequence of truth and goodness. When you have a life of truth and a practice of goodness, beauty is produced. Therefore, art is beautiful, craftsmanship is beautiful. When you make something with your hand, that is a true material, and you make it with attention, with mindfulness, then it becomes good. And because truth and good come together, it becomes beautiful.
Not so many people make the link between spirituality and beauty. Very often there is a separation. People think that spirituality is not so much in relation with beauty.
From my point of view, spirituality and daily life are not separate. Everything we do, the way we live, the way we cook our food, the way we eat our food, the way we work, all that should be spiritual. Spirituality comes from your motivation and your intention. What is your intention behind whatever work you are doing? If you're a doctor, or a teacher, or a farmer, all that work can be spiritual if your intention is to connect with the sacred and serve the humanity and take care of people and take care of nature. If you have that intention and not just earning money and paying the bills, but there's something greater meaning and greater purpose, then every activity can become spiritual. So spirituality in everyday life, spirituality in everyday action, how we live everyday life, that is the test of spirituality. Spirituality is not just the kind of in the temple or in the church or in the books, although temple and church and books can help us to find spirituality, but ultimately spirituality is in our heart, in our intention, in our motivation, and therefore we need to practice spirituality and beauty and simplicity in everyday life. That is the message of my book.
So when we face difficulties, so by example, you are facing fear. How your way can help us to work with our fear?
Fear means we don't trust ourselves. Fear means we don't love ourselves. Fear means we don't trust other people and don't love other people. So absence of trust and absence of love creates fear. So in order to overcome fear, we need to cultivate trust in our heart. And we need to cultivate love in our heart. Love for ourselves. We have to love ourselves, and love for other people, and love for nature, and love for divine presence. Because we have to understand that life is a mystery and it's a wonder, it's amazement. And when you have wonder and mystery, then you have beauty in it. So this is an inner beauty, not just the visual beauty, but the inner beauty. So inner beauty comes when you are filled with awe and wonder and mystery about nature. So you are not always interested in knowledge. You are also interested in not knowing. Because we complicate our minds by too much information and too much knowledge. And therefore we lose the sense of mystery. So when we know that a lot of things we don't know, and it is good not to know, we can embrace and celebrate not knowing. That is the beginning of simplicity. So elegant simplicity works at many, many levels. It works on a physical level, but also on a spiritual level, also on an intellectual level.
How can we do to be able to love ourselves when we don't arrive to love ourselves, when we are angry against ourselves, or we don't arrive? It's not so easy to love ourselves. What kind of advice can you give us to?
Yes, it's not easy to love ourselves, but nothing is easy in life. If you want to play violin, you can say, but playing violin is not easy. If you want to paint paintings, pictures. You can say painting is not easy. If you want to sing, you can say singing is not easy. Philosophy is not easy. Even gardening is not easy. So how do you learn to love yourself? Is by loving yourself. Like, how do you learn to play violin? By playing violin every day. Every morning, half an hour, 1 hour, you hold the violin in your hand and you practice, and you practice. And in the beginning, it's not so good, but after 1 year, after 2 years, after 5 years, you become better and better. So learning to play violin is a lifelong journey, lifelong process. In the same way, when you start to love yourself, you say to yourself, I am good. I am divine being. I will take care of myself. Every day, you love yourself and cultivate love for yourself. Because when you love yourself, it's not ego. You should not feel pride in yourself. You should not think that I love myself more than somebody else. Or I should think that I am better than somebody else. I'm superior to somebody else. Other people don't know. I know better. That is a different kind of arrogance. Loving yourself is to recognize yourself who you are, knowing yourself who you are, and being yourself. And so elegant simplicity is a shift from having to being. And when you are who you are contented, you are fulfilled, you are satisfied with yourself. When you love yourself, you are contented with yourself. When you don't love yourself, then you want to fill the vacuum in your life with material possessions. You want to have this, that, or the other, many, many things. So lack of self-love creates a kind of desire to possess, to acquire, to own things. So that's where life becomes complicated. But when you love yourself, you are contented, you are happy, you are fulfilled, you are satisfied, you are happy, and therefore that's a simple life. So loving yourself is a prerequisite for simple life.
So we know how to play violins. We have a violins, we take class, we try to play. How do we do, what kind of exercise we can do to learn, to practice loving ourselves?
Yes. First step is every day allow 20 minutes, half an hour to be quiet, be still, be in solitude, and focus on yourself and ask the question, who am I? What is the meaning of my life? What is the purpose of my life? What am I going to do with my life? These questions are the questions for knowing yourself. And when you know yourself, even you don't have to know yourself completely, but you know yourself, then you know, I am good. I am my body, but I am also my spirit. I am my consciousness, pure consciousness. I am. I am compassion. I am love. I am truth.
But I'm also, I feel when I am fear, I am anger, I am sadness, I am tired.
Yes, yes. So
I'm not only love, compassion, I'm also sadness.
Fear and anger and anxiety. So this is the where learning to love comes in. So you recognize that I'm a human. I have a bit of fear, I have a bit of anger, I have a bit of anxiety. How can I mitigate? How can I reduce my anger? And how can I increase my compassion and love? Because anger does not make me happy. Anger does not make me fulfilled or satisfied. Anger creates more anger. And when I'm angry, it's not good for my body, it's not good for my mind.
Is why when I'm angry, I am angry to be angry because I know it's not good for me also. I become angry and I'm very unhappy to be angry because I know it's not good.
So in your brain, there are two hemispheres. the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. So the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere can have a dialogue. And with the right hemisphere, you can bring spirituality, trust, compassion, and have a dialogue with the left hemisphere. Say, why are you angry? Why are you afraid? When you were born, universe put the milk in the breast of your mother. Universe will look after you. You are in the lap of gods. You are in the lap of cosmos. You are in the lap of the universe. Universe will provide the sun. Universe will provide the rain. Universe has provided you body. Universe will provide the soil. Nature and the universe is there to hold us, and that will give us your trust and your love for the universe. And everything in the universe is part of the universe. So people are part of the universe. Trees and forests are part of the universe. Rivers and oceans are part of the universe. Animals and birds are part of the universe. Mountains are part of the universe. So you start to love whole universe. And you can say, whole cosmos is my country. Whole planet Earth is my home. Nature is my nationality. And love is my religion. So this kind of dialogue with your left hemisphere of the brain, you can cultivate your love and mitigate and reduce your anger.
I'm not completely convinced because when you have fear or anger,
Yeah.
you have sometimes you feel you're right. We're not talking about that, but very often you are very sad to feel this anger. You know it makes no sense.
Yeah.
You see that you are really it's a very strong deception because you know it makes no sense. You practice. You really want to be in peace, but you are angry because maybe someone make harm to you. You fear because you see the situation of the world and the war who are destroying and killing so many people, and you don't want it, but you feel that.
Yes. I would say that if I'm angry, I'm not angry myself that why I'm angry. It's a little bit like being a gardener. In the garden, you have flowers, you have fruit, you have vegetables, you have herbs, but you also have weeds. You are not angry with weeds. You say, weeds, I will take you away and put it on the compost. So you be compassionate to yourself and take your anger and put it on the compost. Make a compost of the anger. That can become food for the soul, like compost becomes food for the soil. And so you are not angry with weeds, but you don't allow weeds to interfere with your flowers and herbs and fruit and vegetables. You just remove it and put it on the compost. In the same way, when you have anger in yourself, you work mindfully without being angry, mindfully, like weeding. You weed out the anger and put it a kind of compost where you can say, this anger will transform into energy. This anger will transform, like weeds transform into compost, my anger will become energy. And so, for example, Jesus Christ was angry on the money changers, but he did not hate them. He just said, my anger will become love and energy. And so it's a kind of transmutation. It's a kind of transformation. It's a kind of sublimation of anger into a different kind of energy. Because anger is energy. You don't have to discard it. Like plants are plants, weeds are plants. They are compost. And so weeds are only weeds because they are in your way in the garden. This is how you deal with anger.
You work a lot about nature and changing the way we relate to the world. It's a major concern for many people now.
Yeah.
And you really insist that we have to be engaged, changing the world, but with joy, not with despair. Can you explain?
First thing I would like to say is that we are nature. Humans are also nature. Nature is not only out there. the trees, the animals, the birds, the mountains, the rivers are nature, but we are also nature. So that's my first answer, that we must not separate humans and nature. So this is why I love nature. I like to talk about nature, because I know that nature and I are one. We are nature. The word nature comes from Latin word natal. And natal means birth, nativity, native. When you say somebody is native of France, means born in France. So nature means to be born. So everything what is born is nature. So we are born, we are nature. So first thing I would like to say, that nature and humans are not separate. Then second thing I would like to say is that lots of people think that nature out there, like Newtonian physics, nature is like a machine. I want to change that thinking. And I would like to say nature is not a machine. And human body is also not a machine. Like humans are a living organism, birds, animals, forests, mountains, they are also living organisms. So the moment we realize that we are nature and nature out there is a living organism and not a machine, not inanimate, then our relationship with nature changes. Then nature is not merely a resource for the economy, for production, consumption, and materialism and industry. Because at the moment, our attitude to nature is that it's only a resource for the economy. So you can exploit nature, you can dominate nature, you can conquer nature and use nature for your economy. So the moment we say we are nature and nature has intrinsic value and nature is sacred and nature is animate, then our relationship with nature changes and there is no longer dualism. It's a kind of unity and relationship. So everything depends on relationship. Everything is related. We are nature and we are related to everything in nature. We are related to trees, we are related to air, we are related to water, we are related to fire, we are related to consciousness. Everything is relationship. And if the moment we realize there is no separation, there is no dualism, there is no dichotomy, we are all nature, and nature is manifesting in many, many forms, in the diverse forms. Diversity is a part of natural evolution. Then I think we can start to love nature and love ourselves.
So that will be a way to overcome the despair, because every time we talk about nature or ecology, we are a little bit discouraged to see every year things get worse and get worse. Why and how do you succeed to not be discouraged?
We are discouraged and we are diminishing nature because, as I said, we have separated ourselves from nature and we are using nature as a resource for the economy. The moment we change our consciousness and we have a better relationship with nature, then our destruction of nature, pollution of nature, waste of nature, and causing destruction of biodiversity, destruction of ecosystem, and creation of greenhouse gases, and climate change, and global warming, they will all diminish, they will all be reduced. The moment we start to live simply and learn from the economy of nature, that in nature there is no waste, there is no pollution, and everything goes in the circle. It's a mandala. The economy of nature is a mandala. It's a cycle. It's a circular economy. A tree grows from the soil, has a trunk, has branches, has leaves, has flowers, has fruit, and those leaves and flowers and fruit go back into the soil, or we eat, but then go back to the soil, and it becomes soil again, and the soil feeds the tree and the trunk and the branches. So this is circular economy. That is the economy of nature, the law of nature. If we understand that, then we will avoid this kind of diminishing biodiversity, diminishing the integrity of nature. And so we need a kind of psychological and a revolution in our thinking, and we need to change our thinking about nature.
You insist that there is a change of paradigm. Can you explain this new paradigm?
Yeah, so new paradigm is that nature is not a resource. Nature is not a means to an end. At the moment, we use production and consumption as the goal. This is the old paradigm. And humans and nature are to produce material things and consume. So production and consumption has become the goal of humanity. That's the old paradigm. I want to change that. I would say production and consumption are the means, and the integrity of nature and integrity of people and well-being of planet and well-being of people are the goal. So economic growth is no longer your goal, not the end. Economic growth becomes the means, and human well-being and planetary well-being and a kind of evolution of consciousness become the goal. We are here to evolve our consciousness. We are here to reach a state of divinity, and we are here to experience the wonder and the mystery and the beauty of the world. If we spend all our time just production, consumption, that is the goal, then we have lost the mystery, the wonder, the beauty, the divinity, everything we lost, and we have become very reduced. Our goal of life has become so reduced to production and consumption. So new paradigm is to change this confusion of what are the means and what are the ends. The production, consumption, money, profit, these are the means, and integrity of people, integrity of planet, and integrity of nature, and an experience of the wonder and the beauty and the mystery and divinity is the goal. And that's a kind of evolution of consciousness is the goal. Then I think it's a new paradigm.
How can we, each of us, do something to help to promote this new paradigm?
First of all, we have to start with ourselves. We cannot start with somebody else. We have to start with ourselves. And we have to evolve our own consciousness. And we have to grow in our consciousness. And that is the way of meditation and living everyday life with conscious living. It's a conscious living. You are living everyday life. Everything you do mindfully and heartfully and consciously. The moment you start to live that way of life, then you will communicate that to other people through music, through painting, through writing, through poetry, through any means you communicate to other people. As Jesus Christ communicated, Buddha communicated, Lao Tzu communicated through his Tao Te Ching, and many other great philosophers. Socrates communicated. We all need to communicate these deep and profound ideas through poetry, music, art, culture, whatever means are available to us. Then we can transform our consciousness and transform our society and transform our world.
Thank you very much. Voilà, j'espère que cet épisode de dialogue vous a plu. N'hésitez pas à mettre le plus de commentaires que vous pouvez, c'est très important. J'adore les lire, j'apprends plein de choses, ça me donne plein d'idées et ça permet à d'autres personnes de découvrir la vidéo. Et abonnez-vous, d'autres surprises vous attendent très bientôt.